However, the first century church saw the ascension of Christ after his resurrection. It happened in the present time that the church, but in the future, King David. Similarly, the ascension of Jesus happened in the present day of the first century church, in the future of King David, but in the past for us who are alive today. So the prophecy is for those who are present, who never saw the future. We see the past because we're in the present, and yet there's a future yet to come when we see him reign. Time is not static, but always moving, and the humans have different descriptions for it at different intervals. But God knows all things, for there is no time with God. And that's why Scripture says, in the beginning, for us to have a reference to a point of time. However, that time marker is for us that the Lord is alive, the beginning, for there is no time with God. And when time will be no more, for it will cease, God will still be alive. When time ends, God still will exist. There will be no time. We'll not understand time at one time. The Lord is alive and well. Number 2, he is alive and in control. I don't know how many people believe that. It's hard to get a grip on that, isn't it? He is. Now. Present. Number 2, raise your hand if you know the answer. He is. Did you get it? What is it? Huh? Authoritative.
Yeah.
Yes. God is authoritative. You don't give God the authority of your life. You don't give God authority in your life. He has it. He's given you the authority to breathe. And when he chooses for you not to breathe anymore, you won't breathe anymore. You can either pretend he doesn't and perish, or you can own it with joy. God owns my life. He has in the universe absolute authority. I heard a sermon today. I wish I'd wrote down the notes. I will later. God is in control of the weather. But we all complain about the weather. A.W. Pink wrote a whole book on how God controls the weather. And just let someone say that God controls the weather when it does wrong. We want God to control the weather when it's good and sunny and shiny. But when the weather is bad, we don't want to give God the credit for it. Sometimes in our little flawed, fist-shaking need to some strong words to be put in our place. God is authority over the weather, over government, over the law of nature, over mankind, events that have been, that are now, and what will be in the future. God, in other words, is sovereign. He is in control. Authoritative. And he said, the text says, I saw what? I saw something. I saw the Lord sitting upon a throne. I saw the Lord sitting upon a throne. Where was he sitting? Upon a throne. No vision of heaven has ever caught a glimpse of God plowing a field, or cutting His grass, or shining shoes, or filling out reports, or loading a truck, and God is no lumberjack. Jimmy, do you catch not groundhogs, beavers?
Beavers.
Have you ever caught a beaver?
No.
You know, they can be 40 to 50 pounds. But if you know someone who can catch beavers, have you ever come across somebody? Because I think beavers have discovered my trees. They discovered 2 of them anyway.
There's 2 of them out here. That bridge, 335 bridge.
Mm. Anyway, I hope God controls those beavers. That's all I can say. Heaven is not coming apart at the seams. God is never at His wit's end with His heavenly reign. He's not scratching His head. Will this ever work out? Will anybody ever be saved? He's never, he said, will all those written down in the Lamb's Book of Life, will they ever be saved? You know, I just don't know. How long will I have to keep earth going before... He doesn't do that, does he? He sits, and He sits on a throne. All is at peace, and He's in control. Isn't that cool? We don't have a confused God. I like that, don't you? The throne is His right to rule the world. We never voted God in. We never gave God authority over our lives. He has it whether we like it or not. It's utter folly to act as though we have the right at all to call God into question. Why is God doing this? That's not a good... Why in the world is God doing this? You should never say that we do out of frustration, but we should never we can ask, I don't know why God is doing this, really seeking out, but to call into question what God is doing is not really wise. We need to hear now and then, the blunt words like those of Virginia Stern Owens, who said in his last month Reformed Journal, let's get one thing straight. Did you figure it out yet? Let's get one thing straight. Oh no. God can do anything He damn well pleases. That's what he wrote. Talking about a beaver building a dam, right?
Well, they are the best dam builders, right?
I know. Well, if it pleases Him to dam, then it is done.
Yep.
God's activity is what it is. There isn't anything else. Without it, there would be no being, including human beings, presuming to judge the Creator of everything that He does. We draw into conclusion everything God does. Why did God put me in this situation? Few things are more humbling. Few things give us that sense of raw majesty as the truth that God is utter authoritative. He's sovereign. I'm glad God is sovereign. Aren't you?
Amen.
Jimmy, are you glad God's sovereign? So you don't bring into question why you married Lois, right?
No question.
You heard that, didn't you, Lois? Okay.
You shouldn't even say that.
He is the Supreme Court.
Yes.
He is the legislation. He is the chief executive. After him, there is no appeal. You don't appeal what God does. Okay, number one, God is what? God, number two, is what?
Authoritative.
Authoritative.
Okay, authoritative. Oh, yeah, I got it.
You got it, finally? I wish you'd get smart on it. Okay, number three.
He's omnipotent.
He's omnipotent. Right? Omnipotent, right?
Yep.
Huh?
Yepers.
Yippers. I keep hearing this
I was
yip.
raised in Texas.
Yeah, you. The throne of his authority is not one among many. There's not two people on the throne with God. It is high and lifted up. I saw the Lord sitting upon a throne, what?
Let's do that.
High and lifted up.
All the time.
That's God's throne is higher than any other throne. Signifies God's superior power to exercise His authority. He has the right to have authority. There are a lot of people that don't have the right to authority and try to exercise it. No opposing authority can nullify the decree of God. There's nobody bigger than God. There's nobody can overthrow God. He wouldn't be God. That person would be God. If somebody could overthrow God, then he would be God. Nobody can overthrow God. There was nobody before God. I still kind of wonder how he got here. How did he get here? I mean, he's always been. There was nothing before God. There was nothing before God. I'd just like to know what nothing looked like. I wonder if you'll slap me if I ask you that question when I get there. Like NCSI, he's always slapping, what's his name, for being acting stupid. Huh? Tony. He's always getting slapped upside the head. What he purposes, he accomplishes. What he purposes, he accomplishes. My counsel shall stand, Isaiah 46:10. My counsel shall stand, and I will accomplish all my purpose. 100%. Isn't that amazing? Daniel 4:35, he does according to his will in the host of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth, and none can stay his hand. None can stay his hand. To be gripped by the omnipotent sovereignty of God is either marvelous because he is for us, or terrifying because he is against us.